So let's go for the second topic. The second topic is, the West after few decades of feminism and gender equality. And here, like in this topic, I would like to share screen. I got some statistics, and we would love to hear from you. Like,
Sure, yeah,
let's
throw it up.
yeah, let's just see. Okay.
So what do we got here?
Okay, what we got here? We got the fertility rate in Canada since 1950 to 2021. If you're looking here, like, do you know that by sociologists, to maintain like the growth of any nation, the fertility or the replacement rate should be 2.1 and more for each woman, 2.1 son for each woman.
Yeah,
so
it's down to 1.5 now.
Yeah, you're standing in 1.5 right now.
Yeah.
Like looking back, like before feminism and gender equality, your society was doing really good, like 3.8, like around 4 children in each family.
Yeah, 1958. That's when everybody came back from World War II. 1945, they came back from World War II. They met their wives. They got married. They had kids. They had a bunch of kids. You know, by that time in 1958, because the war ended in 1945, so that's 13 years later. They had 3.5 kids, which makes complete sense.
Yeah. And look at here, like after second wave of feminism, we're talking about in the beginning of 60s. Look, the mass drop here. Yeah.
And I'll tell you why that is. It's, that's when the, burn the bra, women should be in the workforce, we don't need no man. Like, that's when that narrative started to happen. And then, of course, fewer and fewer women were having kids. And if they did have kids, something like 43% of children in North America today are born in a single parent household. And they don't say single mother household because that would be disparaging. They say a single parent household, but women have children. So obviously it's single mother households. So the vast majority of children being born today are in very small numbers and mostly to single parents, to single mothers, which is a disaster. I mean, as you can see it unfold over here. That's not good for society. So what Canada does now to counteract that, because they have so many laws in place. Immigration. So everybody from around the world is invited into Canada. And a lot of people that come here, they come here with almost nothing. So the state then sponsors housing, food, monthly allowance. It'd be quite profitable. There's a handful of people that come here with loads of money and they buy up lots of real estate and homes and condominiums and stuff like that. But it's crazy. So fewer and fewer Canadians are having children. There's a definite downturn on that. It's part, again, it's part and parcel of toxic feminism, selling that narrative that women don't need no man and they should be in the workforce. So the other thing that they do, as a result of that, is they go and get their degrees. Sometimes it's 2 degrees, 3 degrees, because, you need to be independent. You should not rely on a man. You don't want to be oppressed by a man. So they go and get their jobs. They go get their professional designations. They go to work. And then by the time they're like 38, 37, 39, when they're not very fertile, and the chances of them with a high risk pregnancy, maybe having autistic children or mentally retarded children or anything like that is through the roof. That's when they decide to go and have kids. And they're old. They don't have very many eggs left. A lot of the time they have to rely on in vitro fertilization. I don't know if IVF is popular over there. Is it something that you... Okay, so here, they actually run radio ads here. So I can be driving in my car and I'll hear a radio ad and it's be like, hey girl, you should be allowed to have kids, sort of thing. So go get IVF treatment for $10,000 and you too can have babies as well. But it doesn't encourage you to have it with a father. They're leaving the story open to, if you want to get it from a sperm clinic, like a sperm donation, you can get it from there. There's a lot of encouragement as well too, where you'll see same-sex partners, and there's Facebook groups where you can go and get sperm donors from an outsider. If you're
sperm bank,
no, from guys that actually donate. They put it in the mail, they ship it, and then like a lesbian couple can have children. And that causes another set of problems, obviously, but the fabric of society is slowly, coming apart here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have here.
Some would argue that that's very progressive, and that's the way things should be. That we should be more progressive, and that's more open and embracing of outside ideas. But it's a social experiment that we're going to see unfold.
Yeah, actually, that's a very destructive on a nation-wise or on a culture-wise, because you need like a high fertility rate, like an above 2.1 to maintain the growth of the culture. Because like when you reach a point like South Korea, so when you reach that point where the fertility rate is 0.9, it's less than 1 children per woman. So 55% of the population is over 65. So more than half of the population is really old. They need someone to take care of them. So like the near future is giving you an alarm that demographical catastrophe will happen. You really got to go and get fucked.
Yeah.
If you did not solve this problem. Really, like
they have no other way to solve the problem aside with immigration, because they're not changing laws to encourage more children.
Yeah, the problem is that like this Asian, like Korea, is not friendly with immigrant at all.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem. It's the same thing with Japan too. They're very hostile towards immigration, but they have a replacement rate that's far too low, right? Which is why you see the economy there doing so badly. Like stuff is expensive. They got a lot of debt. They don't have enough children coming into the demographics. Yeah, it causes a whole bunch of problems.
Definitely. Let's check this statistic also. US is not really doing like very well about that. Like if you
births per
the fertility rate.
Okay.
Birth per woman. Like
3.6.
They had the same thing in the 60s. There was around 3.7, 3.6. It drops, like they are trying to deal with it, but it is 1.7. It's below the minimum required rate also.
It looks like it's a little bit better than what it is in Canada though.
Yeah, 1.7, 1.5, but like both is under like let's say reversible rate. The reversible rate is 1.9, as the sociologist is saying. 1.9, like you can reverse it, like you can deal with it easily. But when it drops like below 1.9, it is it's very hard. It's very difficult to reverse it back.
Somebody's saying in the comments here, what's the solution for all those problems? In my opinion is you need to change the laws so that it facilitates childbearing. The culture and society today, as you can see, because it's changed since 1970. I mean, this is what toxic feminism does to society. It rips apart the fabric of it. So if you want to change that, laws need to change, and it needs to and masculinity needs to be supported, and women need to support men, and make more babies and stop divorcing men. Family law needs to change so it's not hostile towards men, so men are willing to wife up women, and women need to be more compliant and kind and nicer, and they're not. I mean, women here are loud, noisy, fat, disagreeable, argumentative. They're very difficult, and if they don't get their way, they can throw a hissy fit and call a Me Too. So it's never going to change here until you start seeing the direction and the opinion of society changing, which I'm not seeing. I'm just seeing it getting worse year after year. It's only been 4 years now since I've come across this material and gone down the rabbit hole sort of thing. It's only been 4 years, and each year consecutively, I see it getting worse and worse. So I don't see it getting better. I don't see the trend changing. It's not my job to change the trend.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that. I'm not a policymaker. Nobody's going to listen to me. And if I say anything about that, like if you stand up and you say stuff about this, people get very offended. They get very angry at you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They prefer to be offended than prefer to be damaged.
Correct.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Really. Like as Dr. Jordan Peterson, when he was shouting out loud about the compelled speech bill, like back a few years ago, like they start to fight him like he's coming to kill them. Really, they was fighting him back. Like I was shocked, actually, and he's speaking for you, for your freedom. So Getting back to the statistics, I'll give you an example about what's happening here in Jordan. Is a good example, actually. That like the rest of our world, they have similar rates. If you're checking here, the fertility birth per woman in Jordan, in my country, it is 10 million population country. So if you're looking like here in the 60s, the rate was 8 children. Can you imagine? Like, and the average is 8 children per woman. And then it continued dropping, but not like
that was very common back then, because there was no birth control. Like, I remember my grandmother came from a family of 12 siblings.
Yeah, right? my both grandmother have like 11 and 10.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you see the same thing happening in the Middle East that started to happen in the 1970s here. Like, it's on the decline, but you're maybe about a decade, maybe 2 decades behind, but it's on the decline. Like, the trend is down. So the same thing is going to start happening there, where the replacement rate drops below 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we are on decline.
I bet if you have the data from 2021, because you got 2018, I bet by 2021 it's getting very close to 2.0.
As I remember, it's 2.3, 2.4, something like that.
Down,
like, we are near, like near to reach the 2.1, which is the minimum. So we are on the way. We are on the way to reach that point, and that's what we writing and shouting about on all social media. Guys, you have to wake up before we reach this point, because this point is irreversible. It's very difficult to be reversed if you really care about your nation, your culture, your people, your family, your big family. So that was my point. If there's any more information that you can provide us, Richard, about the marriage institution there, like, do people still get married, like, around you, friends, family?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have an entire chapter in my book on the topic of why smart men no longer get married. And it's because it's hostile towards fathers. I mean, what's the point? I mean, the payoff to getting married and having children used to be, you were the head of the household, you could raise a family, you would pass on your name, you would pass on your DNA, you would often have 3 or 4 kids or more, in some cases, and you would hand down your savings, your assets, your wealth, to your kids, and they would do the same throughout history, right? That was the one and only perk to being in a monogamous marriage with children. They've completely taken that away, right? I mean, if you get married and 7 years, down the road, your wife no longer looks at you as her best option, and there's a guy at work who looks like a better deal to her because she's bored, and throughout her entire life, she's been consuming all these narratives through the radio, through media, through Hollywood, through TV, through news, through government, through school, telling her, you don't need no man, women are oppressed, men are the oppressors, man bad, woman good. And then she says, okay, well then I'll just get divorced, because my friend Becky got divorced and she took half of his stuff and she got the kids, and then she gets every other weekend off so she can go out to the bars with her girlfriend and party and dance on bars and sleep with a bunch of guys, sort of thing. Why wouldn't she get divorced, right? So there's nothing in it for men. Like, only dumb men today in the West get married and have children under family law. And there's some guys that get mad at me and they say, it's your responsibility to have children. It's your responsibility to save the West and all that. No, it's not. You're an idiot if you expose yourself to that risk. It's just common sense. It's just being intelligent. I'm not saying don't have kids. I'm saying just don't do it here.
As Gonzalo did, he moved to Ukraine and he's very happy there.
Yeah.
He got 2 kids, I believe now. Yeah. Okay.